Hello everyone, it's time for the big pattern update for going into, I think it's the 4th year now. This is in my top 3 of my best-selling of all patterns. Over 1,000 of you have made this, you love it. And while the majority of you have made it without issue, there's been a few comments or concerns. You email me about these things. Of course, I'm always happy to help. And your issues that were kind of giving you a little challenge, I have addressed them in the pattern update. So the pattern's been rewritten just a bit to make issue 1 how the hook is, what your options are. Starting the patterns gives you a little more flexibility than how the body was filmed. I've reworked that, and then I've also split the tutorial into multiple sections so that as you work each section you can stop, and then when you get to the next section that needs instruction you go to the next video. So there's 4 tutorials total for the pattern. Then we have the decrease section. You wanted the tail to be a little easier, so I've changed the tail instructions in the pattern, so it should be a breeze for you now. And then the final thing was the eye, which was a little fiddly. Now, I didn't mind, I make a lot of these, but we're all different. And I want to give you plenty of options to appeal to a broader base of makers. And you've sent me your adorable finished fish, or you've put them in reviews. You know, you all email me all the time and I love to hear from you. So your eyes, you've had, like here I've got a wood button on this one. I've got the hand stitched option. I've got the option that I use on my bee pot holder for the eye, which looks like a beautiful little flower. And then some of you just stick on a safety eye. Now that's not heat safe, but of course you do what you like. You might just be hanging it as decoration. So that is the update, and I will link the pattern in the comment as a pinned comment and in the description. And if you already have the pattern, if you bought it recently, you should have the update in your email. And if you haven't gotten it, message me on the platform that you bought it so that I can get it to you. And comments, of course, are closed for any paid pattern because I cannot give pattern support on a public platform. But you're always welcome to contact me with any of the methods in the pattern or on the platform you make your purchase. I love to hear from you and I love to help you. So enjoy. So to make the pattern, you'll need your 5.5 millimeter hook, something to mark your stitch. I'm going to use just a scrap of yarn, throw it over the round, just keep track of where you're at, and either a tapestry needle or my favorite little crochet tool is the 2 millimeter. You probably have one floating around in your hooks somewhere that you've never used. This is my favorite kind of crochet finishing tool, and I have a whole video on how I like to use this in different ways. Scissors, and then for yarn, of course, because this is a kitchen item, 100% cotton, so you'll need your main color, which is going to be the color part of the stripe, and then the accent color, it's going to be some kind of white or light color or whatever it is that you choose. I've seen some makers not even change the color. They don't want to fool with it. They just want to stick with their one solid color. You all have been so creative with your makes. Okay. And you'll need about 90 yards of each. So one skein is plenty in each color. The skeins generally run 180 yards. Might even be able to make 2. All right, so the first issue I want to address is the ring, the holder part. Where's my end? And this is, I think, for more beginners or people who don't want to fool with the ring and the mouth. So I'm the wood ring queen. I use them in so many things. And originally I had you work this in at the start of the mouth. So the mouth needs to be an open circle. So I will give you the option to attach it at the end or do a self hook, kind of a single crochet up, around, work another set of crochet through it to give it extra strength, come back and connect it. But I will be using a ring, and I'll show you how to put it in at the end. All right, so make your slip knot, take your hook, and we're going to start with 15 for our circle. So chain 15. Okay, then I'm going to make sure that I'm not twisted. Come in back here at the start loop. Bring up my working loop. Oops, my yarn is on the wrong side. Even if it gets a little twisted, it's not the end of the world, but you know, do the best you can. Snug and pull through. Now from here, put that tail down, turn upwards, and work 15 around. So I'm going to chain 1 just to give me some height. Go back into that stitch I slipped and start counting. There's 1, 2, work in the top part of the loop, not in the back, because we're going to use the bottom loop when we go back and put the ring in. 2, 3, 6, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All snug there. Now there's my chain 1 for height. Here's my starting loop, or my starting of the first stitch of the round, not starting loop. Slip in there. Chain 1, and I'm going to turn it this way, pull that tail through so that I know that this is that the opening of the mouth down here. Throw my stitch marker yarn over. All right, so I finished the round, and before I move into round 2, let's look. You can clearly see, what is this? All of the loops are exposed, everything's straight and even, so that when I go back to add in my hook, the hook ring, it will be no issue, right? Everything's looking good. Hook in. So every round, excuse me, for this next, let's see how many, 6, the first 6 rounds, you will slip stitch, chain 1, move your stitch marker. Okay, I don't repeat that in every round. It says it at the top of the section. So I've done my chain 1, Find my stitch. Now for this round, we're going to start working increases. And increases mean 2 stitches into the same stitch. So it says increase in first. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet, then a second one into that same stitch. Then increase in the sixth stitch. Okay, so that's my first stitch. I'm going to go to, here's stitch 2. Here's stitch 3. 4. 5. Here's my 6th stitch, so I'll work 2 stitches into this one. And then again in the 10th stitch, right? This next stitch is the 7th stitch. Let me find that V. It's a little twisty this first round, and then it should kind of even out. It won't be quite as tricky to get things placed. Stitch 7, 8, 9, and then here's the 10th stitch for my final increase of the round. I'll put 2 in here. There's my 12th stitch. And 15th stitch. So the 15 stitches of the round with 3 increases, this means you will have 18 stitches when you finish this round. Then I will slip to join. I'll join where that stitch marker is, put my hook in there to join. Slip, pull this out, chain 1, replace. Then round 3, you're going to increase again using the same method. This has 3 increases, so it says, where am I at? 2 in the first, just like we did with the last one. Let's find that first stitch. It's my slip, so it's here. 1. So it's 2 in that first stitch. Then the second stitch is stitch number 2. 3. 4. And now stitch 5, it says to increase, so I'll do 2 in there. Stitch 6, stitch 7, stitch 8, stitch 9. Here I'm at stitch 10, another increase. 1 stitch in stitch 10, 2 stitches in stitch 10, then finish my round, and I will have 21 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, so this is how you will increase through round 6. Then we're going to make a little bit of a change, which I will come back for in round 7. Right, so now I'm on round 7. So at the end of round 6, you should have 30 stitches around, and you'll see it's looking like the fish in the image, in the finished image. Right, so here we're going, oops, where'd my little helper here, my little stitch marker. So now we're going to start working with double crochet. What is wrong with me right now? Okay, so you're going to do your chain 1 still, and then we're going to work half double crochet, and that's going to really start building out the proportion of the fish. This is a large, not crazy big, but it's supposed to be a statement pot holder, right? So we want some size to it. Finished is 8 inches by 14 inches. So I'm going to keep working the similar increase method, but with half double crochet this time. Okay, so 2 in my first stitch. Half double crochet is the yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and again. First stitch, and then your next increase is at stitch number 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now 10th stitch, another increase. 1, 2. And then the last increase will be in stitch 20. So here's stitch number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Here's stitch 20, so I'll work my 2 half double crochet in here. 2. And then finish the round, and I will now have 33 half double crochet. Okay, and then you'll work your 8th round and then go on to part 2, and we will start the contrast color portion. So I've broken this up into, or I will be breaking this up into smaller sections so that you can easily reference where you need to go when you're working the pattern. Again, the pattern is linked in the description, and you contact me by any of the contact methods at the end of the pattern if you need some help. Happy to help you. Coming along nicely. This navy looks really pretty, doesn't it? Very nautical, marine.